Sarah Fisher had established herself as an up-and-comer in IndyCar in the early 2000s. She had one podium finish each in 2000 and 2001, and she won the pole position at Kentucky in 2002, all in the process becoming the first woman to get the pole position for an IndyCar race. For 2003, Fisher would drive for Dreyer and Reinbold Racing full-time after having a respectable part-time 2002 season that saw her get a best finish of 4th at Nazareth. However, Dreyer and Reinbold would have to compete with several well-funded teams coming over to the IRL from the kart series, along with manufacturers Honda and Toyota, while their own manufacturer Chevrolet would be developing their own in-house engine.
The question now, if you're Tony Kanaan, you're leading a race, would you bring it in or not? Right now, Jack Arut's reporting that they're debating, but Fisher comes off and decides she's going to pit.
Paul, she had no choice because she certainly wasn't going to make it to the other end.
Yeah, they were targeting, Scott, 173, 174 as far as they could go, so they're in 20 laps earlier. Mark White had just told me when I asked about the fuel situation, he said, frankly, we're screwed. Well, now they're in under yellow. We're going to lose that position that she's going to.
Now, watch the left front. Watch the left front. They didn't get it off.
The left front tire changer, Paul, was actually changing the tire. The tire came off a little bit before he went to put the wheel nut on. And unfortunately, the wheel nut did not get on there completely. She's very lucky right now that happened in pit lane.
Let's see if they cross-threaded, though. That could be the big problem.
They're in 3. We got time. We got time in 3.
Well, she's going to be on the tail end of the lead lap.
Mark White is desperately calling for a left front. They don't have one available. Now they're going to go with that one they had. He was pointing down inside. Now they've got it locked on. Apparently it's okay. And they try it a second time.
Hey, watch your speed. We're okay. We're okay. Watch your speed.
She's going to get out ahead of the pace car, though.
Now watch as we do this, Paul. The wheel nut, the tire starts to fall off. What usually ends up happening is those tire changers are using their elbow or something to actually hold the tire on until they get the wheel nut back on. You can see the wheel nut is spinning right there, and he's putting his hand up. He has not raised his hand to turn around and let the car release. But, you know, a lot of anxiousness going on right now, running in second place. Got to get the car out before the pack comes around. Just a lot of high-flying hearts, I think, at this time.
Typical of the camaraderie of the series. You saw it further on down the pit lane, everybody trying to wave Sarah. Slow it down, get it stopped. Got to get that left front on.
Oh, crash here. Is that Buell or is that Sarah?
I think that's Sarah Fisher.
Looks like Sarah in car number 23.
Yeah, that's down in turns 3 and 4. She's spun around, hit with the left side of the car.
So the yellow is out here. Sarah is still in the cockpit. We are under our 3rd yellow of the afternoon. There is young Sarah Fisher, who has brought out the yellow after 37 laps as she spun around and obviously got the left side of the race car. Talking to the emergency crew, shaking her helmet. She apparently is okay. There's Dave Brown on the left side of the race car, off your right as you're looking at the screen.
Yeah, she does seem to be moving around. Doesn't seem to be any urgency. They're taking all the racing and so forth off so that she can get out of the car. But tough break for Sarah Fisher. She had high hopes. She had run as well as any of the Chevrolets here. This was as fast as Sam Hornish. She and Sam Hornish were the 2 fastest Chevrolets, as a matter of fact, in the practice earlier all week long.
Here's Sarah.
Sarah, what happened?
Well, I just went for a pass, and you know, we both got together. I'm gonna go look at the tapes and see, you know, what really happened. But you know, I'm not gonna blame it on anybody yet. I'm just disappointed that, you know, I couldn't be there at the finish to put on a really good show, because the Japanese fans are really good fans, and you know, Dreyer and Reinbold Racing needs to have a finish every race to be able to get to Indy. So who knows?
Is there a question mark now about you at Indianapolis in the 500?
Well, we don't have another 23 car, so we'll see.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you, Jack.
Jack Arut visiting with Sarah, and you see the disappointment because so much depends on these finishes to get on to the next race.
Yes, it does. And as she said, they don't have another 23 car.
They don't have a deal put together yet.
They don't have a deal put together for sponsorship, so it makes it very difficult when you're going on a race-to-race basis when you have a crash like this, because the prize money plays a part in it, and keeping the car in one piece plays a part in it. You know,
it's just not the prize money, but the cost of repairing the car.
That's what I mean. You know, the price of repairing that thing, the whole cost factor comes into play, and they've been working extremely hard trying to put together some sponsorship, but they just haven't done it.
You know, as badly wrecked as it was, they could probably sell the parts to the fans over here and just leave the car over here and not ship it home.
That's right.
As Castro Neves continues to lead by less than a second, and the yellow is out again, a car in the wall.
And it's Sarah. Sarah Fisher. You see her moving, so she's obvious. Takes the steering wheel off, a sign, an indication to the safety crews that she is okay.
A short day for her, Paul, and this is what drivers, as you heard Felipe Giafoni say, you know something, difficult to be here all month and then have the crash.
Take a look at a little bit of Sarah Fisher's history here. In 2000, of course, she became friendly with the wall through an accident. It really wasn't her problem. And then in 01, backed it in hard. Fortunately, was not injured in either crash and does not appear injured today. But, Scott, it has to bring us to the question, as we watch Sarah now out of the car, has to lead us to the question, restart. The temperature is not as warm as it could be. Could that be a problem for cold tires?
Well, look, it might be, Paul. It looked like it got to the center of the turn. The back end started to come around from her. And you know something? With these cold temperatures that we have right now, it does take a couple of laps to get the tire temperatures back up to perfection. Vince?
Down to Vince Welch.
Mark White is Sarah Fisher's engineer. Cold tires on that restart a possibility?
Blew the motor. She just as she turned in, oil pressure went to zero, locked up the rear, and put her in the fence.
Jerry Punch.
Down to Jerry.
Well, aside from a bruise on the left foot, physically Sarah Fisher is okay, but emotionally, Sarah, there were very high expectations today. What happened?
Well, it's pretty simple. I mean, when you're turning into a corner and the motor just lets go, you know, there's not much you can do. You can clutch it, whatever, but it's really not going to help you. I mean, Chevy's been doing a great job for us, and they're trying hard. They got some good things coming, so we're going to believe in them and stick with it.
Another tough day here for the two-time most popular driver. Bob?
After 5 races, Fisher's best finish was an 8th at Phoenix, her only lead lap finish. Additionally, her best start was just a 13th at the season opener at Homestead, and Fisher was ranked 18th in points.
Firestone telemetry there on Sam Hornet Jr., but Sarah Fisher has got herself a problem.
Good job, good job.
The clutch isn't working, but I definitely lost it.
Okay, 10-4. Good job, Sarah. You're doing a great job.
See, Sarah's trying to pump the clutch up. Apparently a problem there.
And if, depending where the car is, we may end up getting another yellow. All the teams up and down pit lane will be thinking about getting ready if that's the situation.
Let's go down to Gary Gerald.
Paul, it's been a much better day for a lot of the Chevy drivers, but for Sarah Fisher, disappointment. Did the motor go away?
Yellow.
Well, yeah, I mean, we just lost oil pressure big time coming off of turn 4. And, you know, at least for GMAC and AOL, it didn't blow up in a corner. At least it blew up on a straightaway this time.
Well, we're happy for that you're okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
10 races into the season, and Fisher managed to improve her best start to 2nd at Richmond. But she also failed to get another top 10 finish or even another lead lap finish. However, Chevrolet as a whole seemed to be struggling with their in-house engine, and a new engine developed by Cosworth was being brought in. Perhaps this would turn around Fisher's season.
As a matter of fact, already this weekend, we have had 2 cars eliminated in crashes. Let's catch you up to date as we take a look at IRL News. Yesterday afternoon, during the final practice, Sarah Fisher lost control in turn 2 and made hard contact with the outside wall. The car sustained heavy damage to the left rear, lighter damage to the left front. Now, Sarah was airlifted to a local hospital complaining of back pain. However, she is expected to be released from the hospital soon.
At the end of the season, Fisher finished 18th in the final point standings, the same place she finished 2002 as a part-time driver. Her best start was a 2nd at Richmond, and her best finish was an 8th place at Phoenix, her only top 10 and lead lap finish of the season.